and a fourth generation member of the Sakthi Group. When was Sakthi Group conceptualized? When was the founding stone laid out? And what were the founding principles and values basis which the group was started? If you could share with us today.
My grandfather started the business in 1921. Actually, it was started as a sole proprietorship in 1921. It was corporatized in 1931. So, if you look at it formally, we are about more than 100 years old today.
Some of the success stories wherein Sakthi Finance has been able to contribute, right, to the growth or to the success of its borrowers.
So there was a brand study that we had done a couple of years ago just to understand the perception of Sakthi Finance from various stakeholders. So some of our customers at that point had basically said that Sakthi is our Kairasi. So in Tamil, that's a very strong, in the culture that we are from, it's a very strong sentiment to kind of have.
To all our viewers, followers and investors from the Golden Pie community, a very warm welcome to all of you. I am Abhijit Roy, co-founder and CEO of Golden Pie, the leading online platform for fixed income investments. This is the 12th episode of our Industry Speak series. To our first time viewers, what we do in this show is we invite companies who are trailblazers, the rising stars, the behemoths from the financial industry. We get into a very deep discussion with their promoters, founders, and the CXOs and try to understand what they are building, their struggles and successes, and the way in which they're impacting the financial landscape of the country. But today we have got a rare opportunity to talk to the leaders of an entity that is a behemoth, a rising star, and a trailblazer all in one. Behemoth because it is a large business conglomerate that is running over 100 years. Trailblazer because the group has diversified across multiple business lines with success. And Rising Star because one of its flagship companies is making an indelible mark and solving a very pertinent problem in the NBFC landscape. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a sheer pleasure to have this opportunity to learn about Sakthi Group and then deep dive into learning about Sakthi Finance, a marquee NBFC company. I have the pleasure of inviting to a show Mr. M. Balasubramaniam, the promoter director of Sakthi Group. He is also the vice chairman and managing director of Sakthi Finance and also Sakthi Sugars Limited. He plays an active role in the educational sector. He is on the board of multiple colleges, including Kumaraguru College of Technology in Coimbatore and NGM College of Arts and Science in Pollachi. He holds a master's degree in commerce from Madras University and a master's degree in business administration from Notre Dame University, USA. We also have with us Ms. Shruti Balasubramaniam, Executive Director at Sakthi Financial Services and a fourth generation member of the Sakthi Group. She has been at the helm of this financial entity since 2018 and has contributed significantly to the continuous process improvement and strategy enhancements in the organization. Shruti has done a bachelor's in commerce from Stella Maris College, Chennai, and an MBA from University of Warwick, UK. She is also actively involved in multiple social causes. A very warm welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
First question to you, Mr. Balasubramaniam, is when was Sakthi Group conceptualized? When was the founding stone laid out? And what were the founding principles and values basis which the group was started? If you could share with us today.
My grandfather started the business in 1921. Actually, it was started as a sole proprietorship in 1921. It was corporatized in 1931. So, if you look at it formally, we are about more than 100 years old today. He started with Pollachi, the hometown where we are from, is the major trading town between Tamil Nadu and Kerala. So, even till today, it holds the weekly shandies are one of the largest in the state of Tamil Nadu. So, therefore, the town offered a unique opportunity of providing transportation services. So my grandfather started with transporting goods to Anamalize, the nearest hill where the Britishers had the tea estates, and also other passenger services.
So this was in the pre-independence eras itself.
Pre-independence, yes. So 1921.
Right.
Then from transporting goods from bullock carts, when the demand started going up, then he switched over to a single truck, and the number of trucks started going up. Seeing the goods being transported, then the passengers also started asking for to be transported. So therefore, our journey into passenger transportation started. So therefore, from goods to transport in 1921, we corporatized it and called it as Anamalized Bus Transports, which is known as ABT today. And our group are known by two names. One is ABT Group in Tamil Nadu and Sakthi Group across India. So therefore, I think ultimately from 1931, we grew into a size of 150 buses, which was a peak size that was there. During this course, since we are from agrarian family, strong values and inclusive growth become part of our business outlook. Therefore, when my father joined in the business, the first task was to establish an educational institution by selling one or two bus routes. So our first educational institution started in mid-50s. So therefore, along with ABT, we also established the first colleges in Pollachi and the Polytechnic in Pollachi to cater to both technology side and the arts and science side. So that's where you will find that wherever we set up a business, we believe in inclusive growth. We believe in a strong cultural and value integration with business activities. Therefore, that's where you will find that today, along with the business ethics, a strong cultural and integration and value integration takes place.
That's a very unique fact about your business group, and we'll dive deep into those cultural aspects as we speak along. Um, Next, what would be of interest for us and our viewers to know is, as a business group, as I understand, right, started in 1921, now we are sitting in 2024. That's like over 102 years of a business group running, right? What are the various business functions or the business entities or companies that you have under this business group? If you can share that.
So we have a diversified portfolio of businesses, starting from sugar, finance, auto components, auto dealerships, tea and coffee estates, dairy, educational institutions, and the healthcare facilities. These are the broad aspects. In addition to that, we also deal with Maruti. We are the largest dealers of Maruti in Tamil Nadu, and we are one of the largest vehicle dealers of Tata Motors in Tamil Nadu, and also Ferrarias. So these are the broad areas in which we operate. All this expansion came when my father joined the business. So he started with, in 1957, he started with textiles, Sakthi Sugars, and other manufacturing companies. Sakthi Finance was started in 1955 as an in-house financing arm for the group, we being in commercial vehicles and buses. Then in 2000, we kind of went public, and it got into financing of commercial vehicles.
Got it. Now, one interesting thing that definitely would be a learning for a lot of other businesses, right, or representatives from businesses who are watching this, right? It's a huge business conglomerate which you're running, and during one of our prior conversations, I understood that there are over 40 such entities, including educational institutions and other companies under this group, right? It's a different kind of a management style that needs to be followed over here to be able to manage so many businesses in diverse directions, right, and have that market dominance, right? What is that, the secret that that you execute as the leader of this group, right, which helps you in managing all these entities in such a coherent and in a successful way?
So when I talked about inclusivity, we also include employees in the inclusivity. Therefore, there is a lot of emphasis given on trust and as a value. Therefore, we also ensure that the employees are empowered to a great extent. So they demonstrate the art of Swaraj. I mean,
Art of Swaraj.
art of Swaraj. So when it means Swaraj, it's a self-leadership.
Right.
So along with self-leadership, trust as a critical component is inculcated right from the time that they join the business. So fairly, you will find those companies which are listed. We are well governed through our independent directors and the committee of directors. In Sakthi Finance, you will find that 50% of our directors are independent directors. In Sakthi Sugars, you will also find that more than 50% are independent directors. We fairly follow corporate governance structures where the independent directors are fairly given a good empowerment to look at governance as a critical factor. When we come to the non-listed companies, the employees are given the same powers that we give to the independent directors to take the trust as a very critical and important aspect. So therefore, I think as a management, along with the metrics, I think trust and the self-ownership or the acting like a owner as a culture is imbibed into the daily life.
Got it. I think two key things for all of us to learn from here. One is beyond business, that trust and that ownership, that concept of ownership that you drive into the employees, into the companies, right? I think that would be one of the magic components which has helped Shakti Group run over a decade, over a century. And so successfully across multiple business lines. One key observation, around any business group has been that after some point of time, the business group doesn't just remain like a business; they go beyond that to contributing to the society at large, right? And that's how people start associating with that business group as such, right? That it is way larger than just mere transactions or revenue, right? It's more to upliftment of the society, to doing good for others, to giving back to the society. Our research shows that Shakti has a very strong presence in those areas of promoting social causes. The question would be to you, Shruti, if you can elaborate on this area of how Shakti Group, what is the philosophy that Shakti Group over here has, and what are the causes that you are championing?
So I think it starts off with my great-grandfather. So I'm the 4th generation member now. So I've heard of stories. Unfortunately, I haven't seen him in action. But then when he started off in 1921 with one single sort of bullock cart and moved on to setting up many such vehicles for transport, the first thing I think he did was set up a maternity hospital in Pollachi to address a very specific need that was there. There were no maternity centers in and around Pollachi, so they had to come all the way to the city, even if it was an emergency.
And how far would that city be from Pollachi?
Coimbatore would be the nearest city, maybe around 40-50 kilometers.
That's pretty critical
So,
in
yeah,
in
and
these
especially
cases.
when time is of
Yeah.
essence. So I think that need he had identified, and he set up a hospital there. And the very interesting thing is there's a scoreboard sort of thing in the hospital, which is still running. We've recently taken the administration over again. And there's a scoreboard which basically says over the years how many deliveries have happened there. And it's a very touching story also because people who were born there, even say 20, 30 years back, they still come there on their birthdays to visit the place and to just sort of celebrate there. So I think it started off there. And even if the business was really small, there was always a part of the company that wanted to give back. And that started with the founders' values. So I think when my grandfather started, it just became amplified with the number of institutions that were being set up. There was also educational institutions and healthcare centers also being set up at the same time. So it always went hand in hand. So business goals were never far apart from promoting to growth of the society also. So it was always two sides of a coin. It never was really apart from each other. So I think we also sort of learn from what we see, and we've seen this over many decades. We've heard of our great-grandfather's stories. We've seen our grandfather do this. And also with the previous generation, where my uncles, my father, all of them have businesses, a critical aspect of the business, once you do well in the business and you have a profit, the first question comes across is how do you sort of uplift your community which you are serving? And if we have certain customers, what can we do for them to also increase their standing in the society and just general livelihood? So I think that's the kind of ethos with which we've grown up in, and we would like to continue that, and I hopefully we are doing that. And
I think that's a very fantastic story, which we actually haven't heard of in a lot of our other interactions with with business houses and NBFCs, right? This is a very societal centric business which is like growing itself, and at the same time, along with that, pulling up the community around also, right? It's a great story. Now let's dive deep into Sakthi Finance and understand its workings. Question to you is, when was Sakthi Finance formed, and what was the specific business problem that you saw in the society that you wanted to solve with this entity?
Sakthi Finance was formed in 1955 as an internal financing arm for the group. Then when our experiences in commercial vehicle industry grew stronger, and we noticed an opportunity which is also a problem statement for underrepresented customers. So today we cater to a segment of used commercial vehicle refinancing, where our target customers are the small and medium road transport operators. So when I say small, it's about 2 to 3 vehicles or less than 2 to 3 vehicles, and medium it will be about 5 to 7 vehicles or less. So these customers lack the financial inclusion, and also to some extent because of the financial inclusion, it's also social inclusion. So they more or less lack these financial and social inclusion issues.
Like, what was the specific need to focus on refinancing the used commercial vehicles? Like, financing for new commercial vehicles is a pattern, a trend, right? What was an interesting observation that you had with which you felt the need that this is something that is worth starting and will solve a problem? Because as you mentioned rightly, the owners of small fleet to medium sized fleet, they were being left out by the banks to be financed and refinanced. So if you can shed some light on that.
Let me just compare the automotive market and the commercial vehicle market. Automotive market, the valuation for a car, it's very easy to do because the usage is normal usage. Whereas a commercial vehicle, it goes under multiple applications. If the applications are mining, then the valuation falls very drastically. Similarly, if the application is more in terms of a road transport, then the valuation doesn't deteriorate that much. Therefore, I think the need is to see the kind of a customer usage of the vehicles, how the vehicles are applied, to ensure that there is a risk management takes place, so that the money that we lend is safe for the customer. And right from the inception, I think because of the strong value systems, we also kind of ingrained into the business that we act more as trustees of public funds rather than pure as a business transaction. So combined with the values and the business practices, it's very critical that the money that we lend is put into proper use and also recovered well in time, so that the servicing of the resources or the depositors can be done.
So I'll take a cue from that question, regarding the recovery that you mentioned. One of the key areas of focus for any NBFC is to have a very robust recovery mechanism, right? And from the market study that we do, and also from the newspaper article that comes out, right, it's normally there are recovery companies specifically who are assigned to do that work, and they do a very because they're indifferent to the end customer irrespective of the state, they would go ahead and have a very sometimes extreme kind of steps to do the recovery, right? So that's a kind of structure that is there that we see for a lot of entities, and it comes out in the news, right? But for Shakti Finance, how robust is the recovery model, and what is it that you have?
So, I mean, let me draw parallel to automotive collections and commercial vehicle collections. Maybe I will add the housing finance collections also. You find automotive and housing are more or less static assets which are within the given broad geographic area. Whereas a commercial vehicle, it runs 24/7 across the country and across the state. Therefore, our understanding of the customer and the usage has to be extremely very high. At the same time, when the customer gets into a difficulty, we also must see the broader aspect and uh, more support them to grow the business rather than just be a punitive collection agent. Therefore, it's very critical that in a business like a used commercial vehicle, we always believe that having our own team which understands the customer, understands the usage, and normally our employees are attached to a customer like a customer servicing agent. Therefore, the relationship goes far beyond just lending and collection, but also to be part of their business as an advisory service.